Hirlock, and I too am honoured to speak on behalf of our independent group. And in preparing for today, I actually spent the past week reflecting and reading through the history of the Seanad, as it looks like some of my colleagues did also, but in particular looking at its earlier days. And as my colleagues here will know, I have a keen interest in family history, and it's through my research that I actually came across the necklace that I wear today that was given by my grandfather to his sister in the early 1920s. And I wonder on that day in County Clare, on that wedding day, what were their thoughts about the newly founded Seanad. I do know that my family history had some amazing women, and so as I wear my great-aunt's necklace, I wonder what did the first women in the Seanad give her inspiration. And the women nominated to the 1922-1937 Free State Seanad were highly gifted and made significant contributions to political, economic and cultural spheres of Ireland. Notably, these women were committed to gender equality during a period in which legislative changes ensured women's rights were further weakened. Jenny Wise-Power had been active in the Ladies' Land League and in local government, and also ran various businesses. Ellen O'Deff Cuff, Countess of Desart, was a London-based Jewish woman and had founded a woolen mill, a theatre and a hospital in Kilkenny. She was also a keen supporter of the Irish language. Alice Stepford Green was a noted historian. Eileen Costello was a London-based teacher who had moved to Galway and had a keen interest in Irish folklore. Elected in 1928, Kathleen Clarke was a well-known nationalist, and she opposed the wording of Bunreacht na hÉireann, as she believed it regarded women in a lower position than had been in the proclamation of 1916. Kathleen Brown, a member of Cumla na Gael, joined the Seanad at a by-election in 1929. Despite their political differences, these women often worked together to promote women's issues. The Civil Service Regulation Amendment Bill of 1925, which sought to confine state examination for senior civil service posts to men, was strongly opposed by Senators Wise-Power and Costello. Additionally, Senator Wise-Power, who had worked in the Republican court set up during the War of Independence, was staunch in her opposition to the 1927 Juries Act, which barred women from jury service to the new state. Many of the women senators supported the Illegitimate Children Affiliation Orders Bill of 1929, which was introduced to improve the status of unmarried mothers by providing the mother with the right to financial maintenance from the child's father. Senator Clarke opposed a ban on contraceptions in 1934, arguing it would drive the issue of birth control underground. Radically for the time, Senator Clarke also called for solidarity for the trade union movement on the issue of equal pay in 1935. A number of women elected over the years to the post-1937 Senate, such as Mary Robinson and Gemma Hussey, began their political careers campaigning actively for women's issues. Once elected, they worked hard to ensure that women's rights were placed on the House's agenda. The then Senator Robinson, despite being subject to personal hate mail and high levels of suspicion from a number of colleagues, introduced a bill in 1973 to make contraceptives legal in the Republic. Meanwhile, Senator Hussey attempted to have legislation of rape introduced, sponsoring the Sexual Offences Bill in 1980, which lapsed at first stage. Former Judge of the Supreme Court, Catherine McGuinness, who was first elected to the Seanad in 1979, argued for the rights of the individual throughout her legislative and judicial careers. These women and others made improving the lives of ordinary women central to their work as senators, and are just three examples of the high levels of female talent which has emerged from the upper house. I was interested to note that no Taoiseach between 1937 and 2007 nominated more than 4 women. This was broken in 2011 when Taoiseach Enda Kenny included 7 women among his 11 nominees. This ensured that the new Seanad was 30% female, a record high in women's political representation in the Houses of the Oireachtas. As you examine the transcripts and history of this House, it is clear that women senators have made contributions to the upper House, indeed to the Houses of the Oireachtas, well beyond their paltry numbers. This 90th anniversary has given me an opportunity to reflect on our history and to draw inspiration. I feel extremely privileged to be a member of Seanad Éireann. As I reflect today, and especially look at my colleagues in our independent group, and indeed admire the work that they've done both outside and inside the House, I think we have an opportunity for each of us to reflect and decide what will be the legacy for our work. Will we be willing to stand up and use our voices, our role and our powers to make a positive difference to the lives of the people of Ireland.